Right. Okay. Talk to me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. It's Corey Cunningham from Halloween Ends. Oh, oh, God. Oh, I hate. Oh, oh. Blow the candle. Blow the candle. Blow the candle. Hey guys, how is it all going? So, thank you so much for joining me for what is my Talk to Me movie review. And to get into the plot of this movie is there's like this porcelain hand model thing that apparently if you grab hold of its hand and you say talk to me, you will have a ghost or a spirit will be present opposite you. And if you say I'll let you in, you will be possessed by this spirit or ghost or whatever you want to call them. Um, but if it lasts longer than 90 seconds, I believe, bad times could happen because that could mean the spirit will be sticking around. Now, I've seen a lot of hype and a lot of reviews on YouTube and on Twitter and everywhere else that apparently this is one of the scariest horror movies in modern years. I've seen reviews of people saying this is their best horror movie of the decade. I've seen a lot of reviews that say this is the horror movie of the year. I've seen reviews that have said this is the scariest movie ever made. I've seen some of them. And while I appreciate everyone's opinion on movies because it's all subjective and we own have our own opinions and our own feelings on movies, and that's fine, I really liked Talk to Me, but I wouldn't say it's the best horror movie of the past decade. I wouldn't even say it's the best horror movie this year, but I did really like it. I just think the hype for this thing was a bit over the top, I believe. But that's just my own opinion. Like I say, movie is all subjective. But I did actually really enjoy it. I thought the film was good. And what I liked about it was I thought the film was extremely well directed. And I have to say, it's so cool seeing a couple of YouTubers have actually stepped out to make a movie. And it was the guys that did the Raka Raka channel. And if you haven't already checked that channel out, guys, I highly, highly implore you do because it's one of my favourite channels on YouTube. I absolutely love it. The guys are absolutely lunatics. And it's actually surprising that the movie that they've made is quite kind of not as insane as what their YouTube channel is. Actually, quite surprised by that in a little sort of way. But anyway, I think it's cool that these guys have stepped out and done it, and they seriously, seriously have talent because they are very, very good directors. There's a lot of great shots in this, and they build tension quite well. I mean, there's a lot of creepy imagery in this movie as well, particularly when it comes to like the spirits, ghosts. You don't see a lot of them, but when you do see them, they're very, very unsettling. Like, and you can probably just make out there's like one in a dark corner, or you can just barely like see like a reflection of one through like a window in a mirror, and it's very well done, and it's creepy. It's not nice. Also, I will say the acting in this movie is absolutely top notch. Like everybody across the board, like brought their own game for this. And I will say, like the main lead, and I don't know the young lady's name. I'm sorry, but the main lead that pretty much carries the movie. She did a phenomenal job, man. I mean, she has to show so many emotions in this movie. Like she goes through the ringer, bless her. You really feel for her as a character, and she's very likable, and you really root for her, and you really like just want her to do well and get out of this situation. And I thought the actress, did this performance, did an absolutely fantastic job, and I would actually love to see her again in something else. And the same with everyone else. Everyone did a fantastic job. And what's really weird with a horror movie is, well, not not weird, but you don't really get it a lot. But all the characters were actually like really cool. Like, sound enough. There was one dickhead character. There was one. But I thought all the other ones were actually like, you know, you don't want to see anything bad happen to them all, which is quite rare. Because in horror movies with a lot of characters, I just want to see half of them just get massacred and butchered. That's where my enjoyment in the horror movie comes from. But I thought the acting across the board was absolutely top notch. Where before I dive into my negatives, I will say this: that there's definitely a message in this movie, and I think the message is about grief and trying to deal with grief and to not let grief stop you from moving on with your life. I think. Well, that's what I took from the movie anyway. And that really kind of spoke out to me because, as you guys know, or if you don't already know, um, over a year and a bit ago, I lost my dad. My dad passed away. And I've been dealing with grief and still am um, dealing with it daily, if I could be really honest with you. There's days when I'm absolutely fine, and then there's days when it crushes me. It's all I can think about. Um, and I got the message with this movie that, you know, our main lead is suffering with grief from the death of a mother, and you know, trying to move on, and trying to maybe find answers why, and things like that. And I got it, and I understood it. You've got to try and find a balance, because you will never completely stop grieving about someone who you loved, or someone who was close to you is all of a sudden just not in your life anymore. But you do still have to try and find a way to be able to cope with them feelings and have them feelings, but still being able to move forward and move on with your life. And I got that message in this movie, and it is very important, especially if anyone has lost someone close to them in their life, and that's pretty much all of us. So we can all relate to it. So I appreciate the message what the movie was trying to put out. But just to dive into my negatives with it, I don't love it as much as a lot of people seem to love it. I mean, this thing is at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's got an 82% audience. And like I say, nearly every review I've seen of this thing has just built it up to be like the Mount Rushmore of horror. And I don't think it is. I think it's an extremely good movie. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it and it's good. And for guys that have put out their first feature, it is seriously, seriously impressive. And I'd love to see what more they've got coming up or what they're going to do next, because they're seriously talented. But I never found the movie scary. It was never scary. I mean, it was unsettling in parts, it was creepy in parts, but I was never scared watching this film. So I don't know, when I see certain reviews calling it like the scariest horror movie in years. Um, Come on, it ain't. It isn't. But like I say, we're all different. Like, well, what works for me doesn't work for you. What works for you doesn't work for me. I get it, but I don't think it's the scariest horror movie we've seen in years. I really don't. But I don't like, and also the thing is like the game that they play with this hand as well. Like when you grab hold of it and say, "Talk to me," like you see something on the other side of you. How is that fun? Like, I don't mean to like talk about this and be negatives or whatever, but how is that fun? The moment, the moment I would see something opposite me, like spirit, ghost, just looking all wrong. Nah, just no, no. There's no way. Then I would say, you know, oh, what did he say? It's a bloody, to possess you or whatever. Can't remember. Let you in or something like that. Yeah, yeah. And then possess you. Nah, Nah, not playing with that shit whatsoever. Because knowing my luck, it will go over 60 seconds or 90 seconds for me or whatever it was, and then I'll be stuck with it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Sod that. But all in all, I actually did enjoy the movie, guys, but I don't love it as a lot of other people do. But I do still appreciate it. It's not one that I would be rushing to watch again or like rewatch every year. I'll be honest with you, I could probably quite happily never see this movie again. But like I say, that doesn't mean that I didn't like it. I think it's good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, yeah, I just don't love it as much as everyone else. So, guys, I will give my score for Talk to Me. I will give it. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I say, I did enjoy it, and I do recommend just check it out. But yeah, I just don't love it as much as everyone else. So, guys, what do you think of the movie? Did you enjoy it? Do you think the same as me? Do you think it's one of the scariest films you've seen in years? Do you agree with me and say that it's a good movie, it's creepy, but it's not scary? Whatever it is, guys, please leave a comment below. It is absolutely always a pleasure hearing from you. And, as always, please, take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.